The hidden tax on your soul. Let me ask you a very direct question. How many of the things you currently own do you actually need? Think about the activities you've packed into your calendar this week. How many of them genuinely matter to you? And honestly, how many of your goals are actually yours? How many were just expectations that society or an algorithm planted in your mind? Henry David Thoreau asked himself these exact same questions back in 1845, and his answer was so radical that it still makes us feel a little uncomfortable today. He went alone into the forest for 2 years. He built a tiny cabin with his own 2 hands and lived with the absolute bare minimum. And he didn't do it because he was broke or because he was some romantic escapist. He did it because he reached a devastating conclusion. He realized that most people live lives of quiet desperation. We've become enslaved by possessions we don't need, working jobs we hate, chasing dreams that were never ours to begin with. A declaration of war. Thoreau wrote that a person is rich in proportion to the number of things they can afford to let alone. Take a second to let that sink in. That phrase isn't just a pretty quote for your wall. It's a declaration of war against everything modern society tells you that you must be, have, and achieve. Think about your life in 2025. You might be working 50 or 60 hours a week to pay for a house that's bigger than you need, filled with furniture you barely use, in a neighborhood where you don't even know the person living next door. You buy brand-name clothes to impress people you don't even care about. You go into debt to finance a lifestyle that forces you to keep working a job that drains your very soul. And we call this success. Thoreau called it something else. Voluntary slavery. The math of freedom. The simple life that Thoreau is talking about isn't just about owning less stuff. It's something much deeper. It's the reconquest of your time, your attention, and your vital energy. It's refusing to play a part in the absurd theater of consumerism and status. It is intentionally choosing what deserves your life and what doesn't. When Thoreau lived at Walden Pond, he did the math. He realized he only needed to work 6 weeks a year to cover all his basic needs. 6 weeks. The rest of the year was his. He used it to read, write, think, and simply observe the world. While everyone else was killing themselves working 12-hour days, Thoreau had something they had sold a long time ago: freedom. And here's the mental trick the system doesn't want you to understand. The more you simplify, the freer you become. Every possession you eliminate is one less chain. Every unnecessary expense you cut is one less hour you're forced to work. Every social expectation you abandon is one less weight on your shoulders. The complexity is the enemy. When your life is saturated with objects, digital noise, and constant to-do lists, your mind has no space to think deeply. You don't have time to know yourself. You can't hear that inner voice that tells you who you really are and what you actually want to do with this one precious life. Most people live in a constant state of distraction. They go from work to social obligations, to mindless scrolling, to compulsive shopping. They repeat the cycle until they die, without ever stopping to ask if this is how they actually wanted to live. Thoreau wrote, "I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived." That sentence should terrify you, because most of us are heading straight for that exact destiny. The price of your life. The simple life is smart because it gives you back the one thing you can never recover: time. Every object you own steals time from you. Time to buy it, time to clean it, time to organize it, time to worry about it. Thoreau understood this perfectly. He said the price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. Look around your home right now. Every object in it has a hidden cost measured in hours of your life. That cost includes the hours you worked to earn the money, plus all the hours you will spend taking care of it. When you calculate the real cost in terms of life hours, suddenly many of your possessions stop seeming so valuable. Not only do your things steal your time, they steal your mental energy. Psychologists call this cognitive load. Every notification on your phone and every commitment in your calendar consumes a small portion of your attention. Individually, they're tiny, but together, they create a constant mental noise that prevents you from being genuinely present in your own life. The illusion of wealth. Real wealth is not measured in possessions, it's measured in autonomy, in the freedom to live on your own terms. And here is the part that will really bother you. You could probably live with 20% of what you own right now without any real decrease in your quality of life. In fact, you'd probably live better. Less stress, less maintenance, more clarity, more freedom. But you won't do it because you're afraid. You're afraid of what others will think, afraid of looking poor or strange or not fitting in. We've been conditioned since childhood to believe our value is tied to how much we earn and how big our house is. Thoreau challenged that programming. His neighbors saw him as a failure and an eccentric, but irony is a powerful thing. 170 years later, millions of people read his words seeking wisdom, while the names of the successful critics who mocked him are completely forgotten. Those who chased status spent their lives building things that turned to dust. Thoreau, who chose to have less, left a legacy that still transforms lives today. Live deliberately. Let's be clear, Thoreau wasn't telling everyone to move into a cabin. This is a philosophical challenge. He is asking you, which parts of your life are truly yours, and which parts are you living on autopilot? The simple life means something different for everyone. For some, it's reducing possessions. For others, it's disconnecting from digital noise or changing careers. But the universal principle is intentionality. Thoreau lived deliberately. Every aspect of his life was a choice, not an accident. Contrast that with how much people live today. Most people have no idea why they live where they do or why they have the jobs they have. They've simply accumulated life the way a ship accumulates barnacles. Thoreau said, "The mass of men live lives of quiet desperation." Look around. How many people do you know who are genuinely excited about their lives? Most are just surviving, waiting for the weekend, waiting for retirement. That waiting is the desperation he was talking about. The act of rebellion. Choosing the simple life is a revolutionary act. In an economy built on infinite consumption, opting out is subversive. In a society that worships status, prioritizing inner peace is scandalous. And here is what truly scares the system. When you live simply, you become very hard to control. If you don't need much money, you don't need to work as much. If you have free time, you start thinking. And people who think clearly are dangerous to a system that depends on you being a distracted consumer. We are all running on a treadmill. We earn more, so we buy more. So we have to work more to pay for the more. The cycle never ends. Thoreau broke that cycle. He found mental freedom, freedom from anxiety, freedom from comparison, freedom from the fear of losing what he'd accumulated. The central paradox is this: the more you have, the less free you are. Every possession is responsibility. Every commitment is a constraint. Your time is now. The question isn't whether you can afford to live simply. The question is, can you afford not to? Can you afford to keep selling your life hour by hour for things you don't need? The simple life isn't a suggestion. It's a mandate to wake up before it's too late. You don't need to move to the woods, but you do need to start living intentionally. You need to take your life back from the 1,000 small ways you've given it away. It will be uncomfortable. People will judge you. You will have to face your own fears. But on the other side of that discomfort lies real freedom. Not the freedom advertisements promise you, but the freedom to live on your own terms.
Simplify, simplify, reclaim your time. Find your freedom. It is the smartest decision you will ever make. And if you want to keep exploring the truths that challenge the status quo, subscribe and join us. We're here to wake up together. I'll see you in the next one.